Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It is Sat Chat time. Now I gotta be honest, I filmed this a couple of weeks ago. I am out of town right now, but I didn't want to leave you without your Saturday morning cartoons. Oh my goodness, Sat Chat is so much fun. I hope you will chit chat with fellow Sat Chatterarians. Sat Chatterarians, I don't know, Frugalites, fellow Frugalites in the comments below. But I wanted to film an extra Sat Chat to make sure I had something to go while I was away, and it also gives you a place to chat with your friends. So I love that. So what happens? I actually, the day I'm filming this, I filmed another Sat Chat and the intro to my new London Wash Fall Favorites watercolor class, and that is 50% off through the end of the month. So if you want to grab that, the link in the video description with the discount code so you can get it for the lowest price it will ever be offered. That's such a fun class, and I really hope you take advantage of that 50% off sale. And it's probably the last few days of the sale, actually. I'm not sure what date this is going to air. My mind is kind of kind of a whirlwind when I'm filming this because I've been getting class stuff ready and getting ready for my Italy retreat, which that's where I am right now, by the way. But anyway, so I finished filming Sat Chat. I finished filming the welcome video for my Line and Wash Favorites class, and I go upstairs and I look on the porch. You're not gonna believe what is on the porch. I'm just gonna lift it up. I thought we were done with papergate. I really thought we were done with papergate. So rewind a couple weeks. There was a deal to end all deals, right? There was a deal. Blick had that big deal on the big sale on paper. Like, prices too good to be true. And we called them. Is that really the price for 10 sheets? Is that for real? Yeah, it's on the website. That's for real. Yeah, that's what you're getting. So we all placed our orders, and we ordered packs of 10. We got one sheet. So we all called, oh my goodness, how did that happen? Well, we'll send that right out to you. And that went on for about a week. Them sending all the wrong things according to what they were selling packs of 10, 25, packs of 5, like packs of 5 300-pound Arches watercolor paper for like $5, packs of 10, 140-pound Arches watercolor paper for like $7. It was wild. But they said, yeah, no, the prices, that's what they're supposed to be. Packs of 10, that's what they're listed at. That's the price. We're honoring the price. And, so I have received so many boxes just like that with a single sheet of paper in it. I feel so ecologically irresponsible, but it was supposed to, but meanwhile, while I'm ordering, I'm thinking, I'm going to be set for classes into eternity, basically. So this just showed up. I thought they sent emails. At the time I'm recording this, it was like a week earlier. They sent emails saying they were canceling any of the outstanding orders, and they pulled the liquidation sale down, and somebody made a mistake. I don't know what happened. First they were saying the warehouse people made mistakes. There were supposed to be 10 packs and 25 packs and everything going out, but then they just canceled all the orders and said that they were going to be relisting those liquidation products at a very low price, but they weren't going to be honoring the orders that went in. So I was really surprised to see that on my doorstep. I was charged for the it was like 5 packs of 10 of Canson. It was just Canson XL. It was something I use the Canson XL sometimes for if I do stamping workshops at the trade shows and whatnot, because it's smooth enough to stamp on. It's affordable. I could do all sorts of, like, you have big sheets. You could do accordion books. You can do all sorts of things like that. So like that would be great to have a base of that paper, the smooth enough to stamp on that you could do bookmaking, stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna get that. That'll be handy. So I have 5 sheets. It was supposed to be 50 sheets. It's 5 sheets. And so at this point, I am just, when I saw another charge go through from Blick for like $6.75, I was like, oh, when is this going to end? Because I thought that it was done. There was no more. So yeah, I got 5 sheets. I feel like this is my penance for going overboard on that sale, because I went over everything that wasn't paper, though, came just fine. Everything else was fine. It was just the paper was inventoried wrong or something. I don't know. But yeah, it has been quite an ordeal just calling and saying, no, that order was wrong, or no, I didn't get that thing. And I know so many other people have had to deal with that, and I feel so responsible. It's so like the Pied Piper leading everyone off the cliff on that sale. But anyways, I thought that was kind of funny. I thought I would share that with you. I'm just going to email them and just be like, stop sending me single sheets of paper. Mother Earth weeps, stop. But yeah, I do feel like it is it is a lesson. It is a lesson that I had no business ordering more paper, really, honestly. I could wait until I actually needed it for a workshop that was an imaginary workshop in my mind that I actually needed it for before I ordered the paper and factored that into the price. But no, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to buy it now and save all this money. No. Store it at the store, Lindsay. Store it at the store. That is definitely, that has hammered home that lesson for me. Although the other things that I got that were, there were some pencils I had my eye on for the longest time that were like way cheaper than I've ever seen them, and I grabbed those. So they had some good deals, but I mean, they were not the steal of a deal, like, because they're saying on their pages once in a lifetime opportunity, and that paper was a once in a lifetime opportunity, but none of the other stuff was once in a lifetime opportunities. I mean, there were some good prices, but you know, I wouldn't say once in a lifetime opportunity. But anyway, I just was like, oh my word. So all the cardboard is handy though, because I save the big flat pieces of cardboard, because when I sell a painting or a drawing, I make mailers out of the cardboard. I cut the flat pieces of cardboard to just larger than my drawing. I put my drawing in a sleeve, like a plastic sleeve, and then I use the recycled cardboard or the upcycled cardboard to make a little flat mailer, and then I stamp, fragile, do not bend on it, and I kind of tape around all four edges with some cute duct tape. And it makes a really sturdy, protective mailer. So I will use those, and I'm actually planning on selling originals again, because my husband he gave notice about a month ago for his job, and so he's going to be here working in my business again. And so look for original artwork coming soon. If you're interested, obviously. If you're not interested, then don't look at it. Don't look for it. I don't know. But that's something. I mean, I've got an armoire just stacked full of original paintings. I've got so many portfolios in the other room full of original paintings. It's excessive. I have so much. And I've never really focused on selling my art as part of my income. And so I've always been teaching. Teaching has been my main income source, even when I had my studio downtown, and I would have like a print rack set up with all of my originals just matted and in clear sleeves for people to buy if they wanted to. And I'd sell a few, but it was never like a main income source. I don't think it's going to be either. My paintings aren't very expensive. So yeah, I mean, by the time you've mailed it out, because I always include shipping in the price. So by the time you've mailed it out and you've paid taxes on it and all of that, it's not that much. But it's still worth it. It's worth it to get it out there. I think that's part of the reason I like to work in sketchbooks so much, because then I can be done. It's like the painting is done. It's in a sketchbook. I don't have to do anything else to it. It's done. I don't have to sell it. I don't have to market it. I don't have to do anything. It is done. But I still have quite a few things I've done on just flat sheets of paper and canvases and whatnot that I just don't have wall space. But anyway, look for that coming up soon. Probably should have, no, I'm glad I didn't buy any frames in that sale. If I had any dented frames I had to deal with, I think I would lose it. I don't have the bandwidth to keep track of all of this, because, you place an order, but then they're shipping it out at different times, and then things went out of stock, even though they said it was in stock. It was just they were not prepared for that sale. And I mean, I thought it was pretty funny that 5 single sheets showed up again. It's like, seriously, just cancel the orders if you know the orders are wrong. I was surprised that they were still telling people that they were going to reship it, and that the prices were right for the quantities, and they were going to ship it out up until, like, at this point when I'm recording, it was last Thursday or last Friday. I can't remember exactly. It's been a blur. It's been a blur, and I'm filming. This is like past Lindsay that you're talking to right now, because this was filmed like 2 weeks ago from what you're watching it right now. But anyway, that was just so crazy, so silly, and just, I felt so silly. I felt so silly every time I called, because the first time I got right through, but then, like, as people were ordering and as the problems were showing up in their orders and people had to call, like, you'd be on hold for like half an hour before you talk to somebody. And I'm just like, this is the price I'm paying for being greedy and for buying paper I didn't have any business buying, that didn't need right off. But, I always say that the education's expensive. Whenever I make a mistake, or somebody I know makes a mistake, or the kids make a mistake, and I'm just like, education's expensive. You've learned something. Just chalk it up and move on. Chalk it up to a lesson you learned, and you won't make that mistake again, and move on. Because isn't that how it is? If you make a costly mistake, you don't make that mistake again. You learn a lesson. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like getting a speeding ticket, right? You get a speeding ticket. Oh, doesn't it stink to pay a speeding ticket or a parking ticket because it's something that's totally avoidable. You're not getting anything for that money. It just stinks. And sometimes that's how you feel. But it's like, oh, you've learned a lesson. You're not going to do that again. You know what I mean? But you gotta look at the bright side. You just have to look at the bright side. I wasn't spending money I didn't have, and it wasn't that much money. It's just you feel silly that it was too good to be true. Kind of part of your brain knew better, but when you check and they confirm that it was right, that's the thing that I don't get. Why not, like, when somebody calls you up and asks, hey, are these prices right for this amount? Maybe double check if something does seem too good to be true on the customer's end. I don't know. But that was just so silly. Okay, so what else has been going on? So there's been the release of the Derwent drawing set of pencils. Those have been very popular. I did a live stream a couple weeks ago where I compared a bunch of different pencils together because I had a lot of people asking me, how do they compare to ChromaFlow? How do they compare to Lightfast? How do they compare to Luminance? How do they compare? And it's quite a list. And then I had, like I mentioned earlier, the pencils I got on clearance, the Mega Color pencils. I'm like, I'm going to add those. So I just added a bunch of different pencils to the mix, and we just compared them to see how different they felt. Because one thing I had a lot of people asking me about was colors and saying, well, would I be getting any new colors if I bought those over the Lightfast? What are the unique colors? And my stance on that is, if you have a set of 72 or 150 or 120 of any pencil line, you probably have a good variety of colors. And if there is a unique color in another set, it's usually falling in between two colors you already have. And with colored pencil, you can just layer up the colors over each other and nudge the color over either way. And generally, if you're doing artwork, I don't know about adult coloring, because I don't do the adult coloring. I don't have the patience for it. But as far as artwork, you're going to get a more complex, interesting piece if you layer up colors, because if you look at, say, an orange, if I had an orange in my hand, the orange isn't one flat color. You're going to have, like, even if you had a pencil that was exactly the same color as the orange skin, the way light reacts on it is going to be different. So you're going to have some areas that's more yellow where the light's hitting it. You're going to have some area that's white, some area that's brown, some area that's black, some area that's got some, like, different reflections on it. So you would layer up all those different colors. You wouldn't just want that one color, that one orange pencil that's the same color as that orange, because it's going to look flat. You have to layer up the other colors that are influencing that orange and giving it the volume and giving it the shape and the texture and everything. So when people are asking me, am I going to get new colors, unique colors over these other brands, I want to say, and I did say, buy those if you want that formulation. Don't buy it for the colors, because if you don't like the way those feel, then it doesn't matter that you've got a new color. That's why there's so many different pencil lines, especially Derwent has, I don't know how many, 12 maybe different pencil lines, and it's because each formulation is different. Like Pro Colors, they're very hard, they're very non-reflective, they're great for reproduction artwork, but they're not all Lightfast, so that's not going to be the perfect pencil for anyone. Lightfast pencils are all Lightfast, but they're more expensive, so that's not going to be the perfect pencil for everyone. ChromaFlow has the largest range of colors, and they're really soft and they're easy to color with, but they're going to be harder for detail because they don't stay sharp as long, so that's not going to be the pencil for everyone. So generally, you're probably going to have a couple pencils so that you can get the different effects that you want overall. So maybe you have the Pro Color for detail, maybe a handful of Pro Color and Lightfast shades for details, for scribing and different effects, but then you're using Lightfast for the rest of the piece, or you're mixing the Derwent drawing pencils with Lightfast to, maybe bulk up because the drawing pencils are cheaper than the Lightfast pencils, and they have more lead in them, so they'll go a little bit further. So you could bulk in with the drawing pencils, and then go over with details with the harder Lightfast pencils, and then maybe a few Pro Colors. I think you need to know the reason for why you're buying a certain pencil. Maybe your reason is because you love to have a big collection. You like to try all the different things. Maybe your reason is every pencil in my stash needs to count because I don't have very much space, don't have very much money, and I need to make sure that they're all pulling their weight. Those are two different reasons. So anyways, that's what I would say. And I was swatching out the drawing pencils, and this isn't definitive yet, because I really need to dive deep before I do a review on those. because I have Derwent drawing pencils from when they first came out in the late 90s. I have some, they were like 5 or 6 colors, and I have them, the barrels look different and everything. So I want to swatch out the different gradations I have, and then I have a set from the early 2000s. Those are really shorties too. And then I have the ones that Derwent sent me to demo with at the convention this last summer, and those were the set of 24, and then I've got the set of 72. So I want to swatch out the colors from each set that I have over the years and see if the feeling of them has changed, because I was swatching out my set from the early 2000s next to the brand new set of 72, the same colors, and I'm noticing a little bit of a change in the color and a change in the feel. And I don't know if it's just because of the age of the pencil, but the new Derwent drawing pencils feel more like ChromaFlow than the older Derwent drawing pencils, which were a little bit dustier and a little bit drier feeling. So I'm just wondering if the formulation has changed and at what point did it change, because I was noticing that on the chart, actually my friend Shanna from Caution Artist at Play told me that the light fast ratings didn't match, so I printed out the chart, the new chart, because I had the old chart already, and 15 of the colors have dropped in light fastness from the 24 set to the 72 set. One went from an 8 to a 5, some went from 8s to 7, others went from 7s to 6s, or you know, kind of in that realm, but one of them went to a 5, which was kind of concerning, because in general a 5 on the blue wool scale is not considered light fast. It's 6 and up. Even Derwent says colors that are 6 and up are considered light fast, and there's like, I think 5 that are rated 5 out of the 72 set. So they've changed the wording on their page on the Derwent website where they have the 72 set sold, saying from 100% light fast to highly light fast pencils that will last over 100 years. But there's like, I think 67 out of the 72 are rated 6 and above. So it's just something I think that people need to be aware of, especially if you're spending a lot of time on an artwork and you're selling your work, or you're displaying your work in light, on the wall where it's going to get a lot of sunlight. There, of course, is a lot of variables as to what's going to make your pencils fade. 100 years under museum conditions is not the same as 100 years in front of a window, or, you know, not framed, just tacked up on the wall. I mean, there's environmental pollutants, there's sun, there's humidity, there's all sorts of things. There's a surface that you've painted on that are going to affect the longevity and archivability of your work. Museum conditions are generally framed in archival substrates with UV glass in dim lighting and all of that. So, you know, there's a lot of variables there, but it's like, how long is that going to last? So the other thing I plan on doing is swatching the different ages of the Derwent drawing pencils I have, and cutting the swatch in half and putting a half up on my really sunny windowsill upstairs in the house, and then keeping the other half in a drawer for 6 months and seeing if I notice any difference between the two swatches. So that'll be kind of that'll be an interesting experiment that I intend to try shortly. Probably want to get back from my trip. But yeah, that's kind of what's new with me that I didn't mention in the last Sat Chat that I recorded. But I hope you are having a great weekend. My voice is getting a little tired because I've been doing a lot of filming today, so I am going to cut it short, but I just thought it was funny that I had another big box on my porch. Luckily, I can reuse the cardboard. I'd feel bad otherwise, but thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting. Bye!